Hey guys, it's me, JoJo. So I have a pretty crazy story time for you guys today that I completely forgot about until it came back to me recently. In today's story time video, I'm going to be talking about how a couple of people who happen to be vegans tried to fight me at the mall for having a different opinion than them. So yeah, I think this should be a pretty insane and funny story time that you guys might want to be able to hear and laugh at. Hopefully. With that said, let's get on with the video. Oh, also, before we get into the video, I want to give out a quick disclaimer for those watching that happen to be vegan. I do not hate vegans. The people that I talk about who happen to be vegan in this story are the only people that I'm talking about. If you guys want to be vegan, you do you. No harm, no foul. I have nothing against you if you happen to be vegan, as long as you don't use, the concept of being vegan as an excuse to do something really stupid or dangerous towards others. You're completely fine in my book. All jokes aside, I really do not hate vegans whatsoever. With that said, on to the story. So today's story time takes place back in 2019, so before the whole pandemic situation that happened all over the world. So I went to the mall to go pick up some stuff for my family. In the mall, there was this little grocery store that I needed to go to. So I'm on my way there, and as soon as I get inside the store, I can hear the loud shouting coming from a couple of vegan activists standing in front of the meat section. And these two vegans, for their story time, I'm going to be calling Vegan 1 and Vegan 2, are constantly giving people who are just simply trying to walk past them very weird and not at all intimidating death glares, while at the exact same time saying stuff like killing animals is a sin to humanity and that all who buy meat are considered complete psychopaths. So anyways, I'm standing inside towards the main entrance of the store, and in my head, I think to myself, okay, clearly these people are going to cause a lot of issues for everybody inside the store, so maybe I should stay away from them. And that's exactly what I do, or at the very least try to do. So I'm walking around the store just trying to get some stuff that I needed, while at the exact same time getting a little bit annoyed having to listen to these two vegans basically screaming at people because how dare they buy meat products despite the fact that they're not trying to do anything wrong while buying meat products, which is something that I'm pretty sure they didn't even think about when they decided to literally scream at a bunch of random people for no reason whatsoever. So this goes on for about, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes while I'm walking around. Thankfully, I'm almost done with my grocery shopping. All I needed to do was to get like burgers, hot dogs, and overall just some meat that I needed to get from the list that I had for my grocery shopping. As I'm walking over there, I thought to myself, okay, thank fuck I'm almost done with my shopping. All I need to do was get like hot dogs and, just basic stuff like that. And at that moment, I also thought to myself, oh, wait, because I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot that those two vegans literally were standing on both sides of the meat section, meaning there was one person on one side and the other person on the other side, which was a huge problem for me, and you're about to hear why. So I'm making my way to the meat section, and one of the vegans, who is Vegan 1, is standing in front of the aisle. So I try to walk past him, and instead of him just letting me walk past him in order to get inside the meat section, he instead grabs the side of my shopping cart and asks me, what the fuck are you doing? This instantly threw me off because, call me crazy, but I wasn't prepared to get stopped by a random vegan just because I wanted to get something from the meat section. Like, I totally get that you don't want people buying meat products because of what you personally believe as a vegan. I have nothing against that. And I also wasn't prepared to be stopped by a vegan whose breath smells like goddamn booty cheeks. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Have you ever heard of brushing your teeth before? Jesus Christ. So anyways, he's holding on to my side of my shopping cart, and I say to him, look, I'm not trying to start any problems with you, in any way, shape, or form. All I'm doing is shopping just like everybody else in the store. Can you please let go of my shopping cart? Then he says back to me, you have no right to come into this section of the store. I'm trying to protect these animals. Trust me, I completely understand what you're trying to do. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing to a certain extent, but I can walk into any aisle that I want to go to. You're not going to tell me what to do in the grocery store that I'm pretty sure you don't work at to begin with. So I'm going to keep on walking. Now, what I did on my part, I probably shouldn't have done it. I'll be the first one to admit that maybe I'm in the wrong for doing this. So I grabbed his arm and I twisted it so that his hand was completely off of the shopping cart, which led to him backing up like a couple feet away from me. Then afterwards, I continue walking inside the meat section. And after this is where the story really gets interesting. So I'm in the meat section and I can see the section that contains all the hot dogs and burgers and whatnot. And as soon as I'm grabbing some and putting them in my shopping cart, these two vegans surround me on opposite ends and they look really pissed off. So Vegan 1 steps closer to me and says, "Oh, so you think that you can assault a vegan person and get away with it? What's wrong with you?" Then I said, "Okay, dude, one, you were holding onto my cart while I was trying to walk past you. What did you want me to do at that moment? Just stand there while you continue to yell at me for literally no reason? That's not how this works. Maybe if you weren't holding onto my cart for no reason whatsoever, we wouldn't be in this particular situation whatsoever, and I wouldn't need to use force for you to get off of my shopping cart. And two, what does being vegan have anything to do with you basically trying to stop me from doing my own shopping in peace?" Then Vegan 2 finally speaks up and says, "Oh, so now you're trying to make fun of us for being vegan. What's wrong with you?" Then I said, "Look, I have no problem with both of you being vegan. I don't hate people for being vegan whatsoever. It's just that when you do something that gets a lot of people completely angry, like, oh, I don't know, trying to forcefully stop people from simply doing their shopping, that's where it becomes a problem. And if you guys happen to be vegan while doing stuff like this that gets people upset, that's not my fault. It's not my fault that you're basically bothering a bunch of people in the store to begin with." Then Vegan 1 says, "We're not trying to cause a problem inside the store. We're just trying to stop meat eaters like you from buying products made from animals because it's wrong. How dare you eat animals on a daily basis, you murderer?" Then I said, "Look, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out and protest for the safety of animals. I have nothing against that whatsoever. But you can't just go around verbally and in some cases physically harassing people just because they so happen to be eating meat. Like, if anything, doing stuff like this will most likely give people the impression that vegans are crazy and dangerous assholes who harass people for having a different opinion than them. And also, are you trying to tell me that just because I'm trying to buy meat, that means I'm considered a murderer in your eyes? That makes no sense. If a cow was already dead and turned into a fucking burger, I'm sorry, but I'm eating that burger. I agree that there are some companies around the world that love to torture and kill a bunch of animals that are still alive, and I do not condone that behavior whatsoever. I think that's a pretty messed up thing to do. But at the exact same time, unlike you two, I'm not just gonna go around to a random store and basically harass a bunch of other people who are minding their own business that apparently they're not supposed to be buying meat, right? Because I think they're not supposed to be buying meat, and pretty much messing up a bunch of people's, enjoyment on their own personal shopping experiences. That's pretty fucked up. So then Vegan 1 says, "Whatever, fuck you." And both Vegan 1 and 2 begin to walk away from me to the opposite side of the meat section. And I proceed to do something that I, once again, probably shouldn't have done. Once again, I'm fully capable of admitting that maybe I'm in the wrong for doing this next part. So when both of these guys started walking away from me, I noticed that there was a big frozen turkey placed right next to me. And after seeing this, I decided to do something that's a little bit petty on my part, which, once again, probably was a bad idea. And I said out loud, "God damn, Chicken Little, you be looking different today." And as soon as I said this, both Vegan 1 and 2 turned back around and said, "What did you just say?" Then I said out loud, "I mean, the movie was completely bad, but at least Chicken Little was useful for something after all." And me saying this got both of them really pissed off. And before I knew it, Vegan 1 proceeds to run, like literally run towards me, and then he gets into my face for a couple of seconds and proceeds to try and punch me in the face. And I don't know if this guy has never been in a fight before or if he doesn't know how to throw a punch, because he completely misses my face. And listen, I'm not trying to say that, vegans don't know how to fight whatsoever. Please don't twist my words. I'm sure that there are a lot of vegans that are capable of handling themselves in a fight. I'm not denying that. But for this particular person that happens to be vegan, he apparently doesn't know how to fight for some reason. Then out of nowhere, the manager finally comes out to the meat section to watch me basically almost getting assaulted by these two vegans. And after seeing this, he says, "Okay, what's going on here?" And look, I need to give like a little rant real quick. How are you a manager of a store and you didn't notice two people literally yelling across the store talking about how people who buy meat are considered horrible people? How are you a manager and you didn't see this coming, or if you didn't hear this coming whatsoever? Like, how does that make sense? I don't care if you were busy doing something. If you're a manager of a store, you should be up to date with what's going on in your store. And that's exactly what I tried to say to this manager. So I said to the manager, "Dude, you're now deciding to stop whatever's going on around inside your store?" And then afterwards, he then walks past me and is standing like a foot away from Vegan 1 and 2, to which the manager says, "Listen to me carefully. You both are banned from this store immediately. I want both of you out of this store in the next 10 seconds before I call the police." Then both Vegan 1 and 2 instantly start fast walking out of the store looking very embarrassed. On their way out of the store, Vegan 1 walks past me saying, I'll get you for this. Watch your back, motherfucker." And then they both just walk out of the store. Then after this, the manager walks over to me and is constantly apologizing to me as well as everybody else inside the store. So then I told the manager, "Listen, man, what was taking you so long just to get here and stopping these two people from causing all this trouble?" Then the manager says that he was dealing with some kind of personal matter. So I said, "Look, man, like I totally get it. Maybe you were in the middle of doing something, important, whether it's personal or not. I get it. But those two were literally about to physically assault somebody who is me over a disagreement. You're the manager of this store. I'm pretty sure you know that a random customer shouldn't have to tell you that you should be doing a much better job at preventing something like this from happening in your store. Please, in the future, just do your job. Like, I'm not upset with you or anything like that, but just please do your job." Then the manager nods in agreement and says that I don't have to pay for any of the groceries that I need to buy today. So then I tell him thanks, and I leave the store with all the groceries that thankfully I didn't have to pay for. So I guess something good came out of this whole situation, I guess. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story time about how a couple of vegans tried to physically assault me for having a different opinion than them. I never saw those two vegans ever again, but if they so happen to be watching this very same video, hey guys, how does it feel to get banned from a store for your own stupidity? Feels bad, right? But yeah, all jokes aside, moral of the story is don't try to physically assault somebody for having a different opinion than you. That's obviously a big no-no and you shouldn't do that. And also, don't do what I did in this story. Now, as much as I didn't technically do anything wrong, and I could make the argument that I was simply trying to defend myself against two crazy people, I still want to call myself for some of the dumb things that I made in this particular situation. If I had the ability to go back in time just to tell myself to do something differently in this particular situation, I would do so in a heartbeat. Learn from my mistakes. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on the video and subscribe for more of my really dumb videos in the future. A link to my Instagram will be placed down in the description below if anybody wants to go check it out. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is JoJo signing out. Peace.